Hey guys, it's been a minute, maybe more like 3 weeks. I have had a very busy time. I've started homeschooling my kids, so that is a whole new adventure. I wanted to do that because I grew up homeschooled, my husband grew up homeschooled, and we both had very good experiences, and we really wanted to have more control over what our kids learn and when they learn it. Because there's a lot of things being taught in schools that I just don't feel comfortable with, and I want to decide when it's appropriate for my kids to learn those things. So it's going well so far. It's definitely an adjustment for my kids and myself because my whole schedule has to revolve around their schooling now, and that just kind of limits my time for other things that I would normally be doing. So that's been happening. And this past week, I had the opportunity to travel to a conference in Florida. I'm just living on a high right now from that. I didn't think I was going to be able to go. It's called Experience Conference, and it is designed for worship leaders and church musicians, tech people, and I guess also pastors could benefit from it too, but it's definitely geared towards the worship team, tech team, that kind of stuff. I didn't think I was going to be able to go because traveling is expensive, and I had a lot of expenses this summer and couldn't pull the money together. And I just started praying. I'm like, God, if you want me to go to this, then please provide, because I don't see a way to make it happen responsibly. And he provided and made a way for me to go, and I'm just so thrilled. I learned so many things and was refreshed in my spirit, and I just can't even tell you the difference I feel mentally and emotionally compared to where I was before I went. So I have been leading worship in my church for, I guess, 5 years as a leader. I don't lead every single week, but if I'm not leading, I'm usually a backup vocalist for another worship leader. So I'm most weeks singing on Sunday morning in front of the congregation, and so that's been going on for 5 years, and I've just loved doing it. It's something I've always wanted the opportunity to do, and God provided that opportunity as well through my church, and I consider it a great honor and privilege to be a worship leader for my congregation. It's a big responsibility, and I take it very seriously, and I really want to bring my best. And the way that I do that is I really nurture my personal walk with Christ, and try to just stay focused on him and the things of his kingdom. And so anyway, going to this conference was awesome. There was so much time spent just in straight up worship, and to be able to do that completely freely without having to think about the flow of a service or think about reading the room and how are people taking this, are they done with the song, should we keep going, are they really worshiping? There's a lot that goes into leading worship on a Sunday morning, and a lot of thought prior to the service and during the service. You're just really kind of trying to monitor the congregation and be sensitive to the Holy Spirit, and it's hard work. And most Sundays I come home and just feel like so tired. But to be able to worship freely with thousands of other people who are of the same mind and who are in a probably a similar mental emotional state as you, was just so refreshing and encouraging, and I loved it. I did not want to leave. I actually started crying when I was in my last our last worship session because I was like, oh God, I don't want to leave here. Like, of course I wanted so badly to be home with my family, but I just felt like I didn't want to go away from that place because it just felt so rich with his presence, and there's nothing better than that. So I wanted to share briefly about, I feel like the mindset shift, I guess, that I had. So on the day that I flew out, I was incredibly stressed. Well, I need to back up before that, actually. For the last several weeks, I've been praying because I've just realized that I feel very chaotic and not very joyful in my mind, and I'm just under a lot of stress all the time and dealing with some anxiety a lot of the time. And I just started praying like, God, I know this is not your desire for me. You do not give us a spirit of fear, but you give us peace and you give us a sound mind. And I don't feel that way right now. And I just really, just please help me to get to a place where I feel peace again and where I feel joy again, because I just don't really feel it. And so I've been praying that for several weeks. Well, the day that I left town, I was under major stress because our babysitter was a no-show. And so my poor husband was having to drop me off at the airport, take care of the kids, and work from home all by himself, and just trying to make do until my mom could get there. She was going to come and babysit in the afternoon. And so I was stressed about that. I was also stressed about flying because I don't really like flying very much. And I, at the airport, ended up being in an oversold situation, and they were asking for volunteers to go on a later flight. I gave it some thought and decided I would volunteer because they were offering $700 to anyone who would do it. And I was like, I could definitely use that money. So I volunteered. Well, then it turned out that they didn't need me to change after all. And so it was just a lot of emotional upheaval that day. And on the flights, I was really nervous. I did decently well, but I was definitely nervous. And the difference from that day to the day I came home was just incredible to me, because on the way home, I felt overall very peaceful and very joyful. I was able to enjoy my flights. Even I almost missed my flight and nearly panicked about that. But once everything was settled, and even in the middle of the crisis, I was like, okay, I know that if I miss my flight, God will take care of me. He'll take care of my kids. They're with my parents. They'll be okay. But once that was all settled and I was able to just enjoy the flight, it was just amazing. I was looking out the window and just looking down on creation and thinking how small we are as humans, and yet God gives us his every thought. I mean, we are so valuable to him, so important to him, because we are the pinnacle of his creation, and he made us to be in his image and to be a creator like he is. And I was just amazed by those thoughts, because from up in the sky, you can't even see a single human. I mean, we're so tiny in the universe. And to think that the one who created it and holds it all together is constantly holding you in his thoughts and orchestrating things in your life, even tiny little details that probably other people wouldn't even care about. It's just very humbling and amazing. That's all I can think to say. But since I've come home, I just feel like a weight is lifted off my shoulders. I feel joyful again. I feel peaceful again. And even though there's like major things happening in my life that are not joyful or peaceful, they're big things that concern me, I'm able to just kind of recognize that God is orchestrating all of that, and I need to just give it up and not worry about it. And so I've been able to do that, and I'm just hoping and praying that I can stay on this high for as long as possible because I'm very much enjoying feeling better. There was something else I was going to share, and I'm drawing a blank on it at the moment. Oh, I was going to say, I think what has helped to break this off of me is the fact that every day at the conference, we had a general session in the morning and in the evening, and at both of those, we had long periods of worship and music and singing, and we'd have speakers as well that would give really good talks. But the worship time, just, the Bible says that God inhabits the praises of his people, and I fully believe that because I've experienced it so many times. And just, I usually sat near the front of the room that we were in, and so having like thousands of people all around me singing and worshiping and just completely in was so uplifting. And you know, when you worship God and you magnify his name and you put him where he belongs on the throne, it makes everything else in life seem so insignificant, because they are. There's nothing greater than God, and he's just, Lord help me to come up with the words. God is greater than anything you could ever even imagine. And when you recognize that he is on the throne of heaven, he is the king, he is sovereign over everything that happens in this world, the rise and fall of nations and the health of people and the things that they go through, it just helps you to relax because it's not in your control and there's nothing you can do about it. So you might as well just let go and go along with the ride. So I encourage you, if you are in a place where I was just a few days ago, where you're feeling like you don't have peace, you don't have joy, and you're frustrated all the time, and you just feel agitated and irritated and all those negative things, and that's not your normal character, take it to God and spend some real time in worship. It might feel weird at first if you're not used to doing that, but find a good worship playlist and close the door to your room and just sit down and listen to the songs. Even if you don't know the words, listen to it and just soak it in, and you'll find yourself beginning to worship, and you will be able to release things, and chains will fall off of you, and you're going to be so much better for it. And I encourage you to invite God into every step of your life, every moment and everything that you're concerned about or happy about. You don't have to go with him only with bad things. I'm sure he'd love to hear your good things too. So just invite him in, and he will come and join you, and he will help to shift your perspective if you will open the door to him. So that is my thought for the day, and yeah, have a good week.